Good morning. It is Tuesday, March the 25th, 2025. Sun is shining. Yep, the sun has returned here in downtown Wausau at our studios, WXCO studios at the corner of Washington Street and North 3rd Street in downtown Wausau. Fair skies and 19 degrees. Still a bit of a chilly start. Wind chill factor is 11. It is the Tuesday edition of the Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. Well, I was just on with Pat Kreitlow, and I mentioned the fact that we are expecting to have this morning Dr. Michael Childers, who is a professor at the University of Wisconsin-Madison School for Workers. Unfortunately, I just got a message that there's a family issue. So Dr. Childers, who was scheduled to join us at 8:34 this morning, talk about U.S. labor then and now, an event occurring on Saturday from 9 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. at the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point at Wausau and the Center for Civic Engagement, Venega Theater. Unfortunately, a family issue has come up, so he will not be able to join us this morning. But during that segment, still we'll talk about this event. I want to make sure that folks know about it and know what they will be seeing. A really interesting event coming up if you're looking for something entertaining and also informative to do on Saturday here in Wausau. So again, at the bottom of the hour, we'll talk about the U.S. Labor Then and Now film screening involving Dr. Michael Childers from UW-Madison coming up at the bottom of the hour. Coming up in about 12 minutes or so, we'll talk about the weather. Brittney Merlot will be joining us. And as I said as well, we're scheduled 10 days from now to have our first high school baseball broadcast of the spring. And as I was driving in this morning, boy, the trees are still just packed with snow. I mean, it looks like, Christmas time. That heavy snow we got on Sunday has just loaded up the trees. And yesterday, late in the afternoon when I was leaving work, I noticed some of on the power lines and stuff, there was some of the snow was coming down. It was dripping down. But boy, the snow is still very thick on the trees as I was coming down Camp Phillips Road towards Wausau and heading into work this morning.
Indeed.
And going to find out, is the temperature going to go rise? Are we going to get warmer temperatures? Are we going to have it be warm enough where this snow starts to melt away? Because I'm starting to have some doubts about those first broadcasts in about 10 days' time. The good news is in 10 days, a week from Friday, our first scheduled broadcast is Wausau West Baseball taking on Antigo at the Wausau West High School field. That's outdoors, of course.
Okay.
They do have an artificial turf infield, but the outfield is still regular grass, so that could be trouble.
Yeah.
But then on Saturday, the week from Saturday, we're scheduled for our first Wausau West softball game. And they're participating in an event over at the new Greenheck Turner Field House over at DC Everest, because they have actual indoor facilities where you can actually play softball indoors. And that the events will be held indoors, and they will be held on Friday and Saturday. And our plan was is to have the Wausau West girls softball team against Eau Claire Memorial Saturday morning in the second day of the event. Should the weather not clear and the baseball game gets postponed because of still snow being on the ground or field conditions being bad, at least we have the backup on Friday that perhaps I could get over there and do some softball on Friday. So indoor facilities, like having a dome here. It's like having the Metrodome back in the old days where the Twins played and stuff like that. So, or like American Family Field where you have the big roof when you need it. So hopefully I'd rather be outside because after a long winter being indoors, I want to be outside, feel the sun while doing a broadcast. But
feel the fresh air.
There you go. But we'll find out from Brittney what to expect weather-wise as we get towards the middle part of the work week. Coming up in the second hour, we have a number of guests at 9:06. As we do every other Tuesday, we'll be joined by Robyn Vargas of the Marathon County Public Library, talking about the activities going on just down the road here in downtown Wausau, the main branch of the library, and also all the other branches of the county library system.
Yep.
That's at 9:06. And then at 9:34, Carol Lukens and Jean Abreu of the Wausau Sustainability, Energy, and Environment Committee will be joining us, and we'll talk about what they're up to in that group as well. And then, of course, to wrap up the show, we'll have our daily history lesson. We will be talking about some of the famous events that have occurred on this date in history. And again, knowing history is important. And again, I hope you were tuned in the final segment of Pat Kreitlow's show. I always join him in the final segment on Tuesday mornings and mention the fact that if you look back at like the last 140 years, who has been bringing average people policies that make their lives better? And I would say it's those on the progressive side. I mean, going back to having food checked. I mean, back in the day, I mean, you hear all the time from people like Elon Musk. Elon Musk recently said that we should have no regulations. We should just get rid of them all. And then if we find that we do need some regulations, we can bring them back. But back in the day, we know what it was like when we had no regulations.
Yeah.
We'd have poisonous food.
We used to boil everything.
Yeah. And, you know, the food was bad.
Was a big
exactly.
disease back in the day.
You would have children working 7 days a week. You would have, you know, just no rules on work conditions. We had then Social Security and all these other policies that were brought in the past century plus. So, again.
Way. And it's important that we remember where we came from and where we are now, and more importantly, where we're going.
So we'll talk about some of the famous events that have occurred on this date in history in the last segment of the show. We'll also have a few celebrity birthdays and talk about some events that are being acknowledged here on the 25th day of March. And then we will wrap things up with our number for the day quiz.
Yes.
And we give Ian a quiz. We have a number for the day. And I give him 3 choices, one of which is the correct number for the day, 2 of which are incorrect. So that's 3 choices. And based on the math, if he just guesses, he should get 1 out of 3. So we try to make sure that he gets above 33% for the week. But then we want him to have a winning week, which is more right than wrong, 3 out of 5. His best ever week is 4 out of 5. And we're going to have to wait at least 1 more week for that ultimate perfect week of 4 out of 5. I should say 5 out of 5, the perfect week, because you are 0 for 1 so far.
Yep, I wasn't able to get the number yesterday. My dad, I guessed the right answer. My mom, I thought it was the smallest number.
What was our topic again yesterday? I'm trying to remember.
It was the first.
Oh, the car. The car,
it was
right?
The first automobile sold and how much it was sold for. Choices were $500, $1,000, or $1,500. I said it was 15. Wait.
Yeah, 1,500.
We're just making sure I get this right. Yeah. I guess the biggest number. My mom guessed the smallest number, and my dad guessed the middle number. And my dad was right. So he was sending me the mental vibes. I just didn't get the message until it was too late. But hopefully I can get back on the winning track today.
Absolutely. We'll let you know about what the subject matter is for the number for the day quiz in the first segment of the. Actually, we have our guest coming up from the Marathon, Robyn Vargas from the Marathon County Public Library. So,
Well, if you want to, we can do it now.
no, I don't have it, so I'd have to dig it out. But I think maybe the last segment of this hour we'll bring it up right before
Sounds
the top
good.
of the hour. So
Yeah.
we'll get that to you at the in the final segment of this hour, and then let you stew on it for about an hour, and then hopefully get the right answer coming up at about 9:55, 9:56 before we wrap things up. Hey, also make sure, folks, that you keep on listening all day long, because we're giving you a chance to win.
Yes.
It is our newest contest. Again, it's a text to win contest and a chance to win some terrific prizes 4 different times during the course of the day. It's our break into spring. And of course, we have not exactly broken into spring with all that snow we've had the last
We're going to get
week.
there eventually.
But it's our break into spring contest. And we played it for the first time today in the 7 o'clock hour with Pat Kreitlow. What happens is our host at 7 a.m. with Pat, at 11 a.m. with Jane, at 1 p.m. with Todd, and at 3 p.m., actually 4 p.m. with Dom, they give you a keyword near the top of the hour, 4 times a day, 7 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m., and 4 p.m. Listen for that keyword and then enter in for your chance to be an hourly winner. And then that entry also makes you an automatic entrance to win the grand prize at the end of the contest, which is going on for 2 weeks. It's going on this week, Monday through Friday, and next week, Monday through Friday.
We got some nice prizes, too.
Absolutely. You have daily chances each of these 4 different times to win either a Chula Vista getaway, Milwaukee Brewers club level tickets, or even $100 in cold, hard cash. And then, of course, when the contest is over, and then we have the grand prize drawing, everybody is in for the grand prize drawing, and that will be a brand new queen size mattress set from Verlo Mattress. So brand new queen size mattress set from Verlo coming up at the end of the contest.
But you use a new mattress.
Absolutely. But everybody has to do it with the Civic Media app.
Yes.
So if you have not downloaded the app yet, go to your app store, search Civic Media, download the app, and then you have a chance to win. Next chance to win will be with Jane Mantanair coming up at 11 a.m.
And do it through our station as well, because it helps our ratings and it makes us look good.
It makes us look good. That is the biggest reason. So absolutely. So again, when you do send in that keyword during those 4 times during the day, do it through the 98.9 WXCO part of the Civic Media app. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the weather. Our meteorologist, Brittney Merlot, is joining us. That's straight ahead in 2 minutes. The time is almost 8:19. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
Good morning, Brittney.
Good morning. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I was able to get all the snow off our driveway yesterday.
Was it pure ice at that point, or what was it like?
No, honestly, it was melting kind of surprisingly fast, but we still had a lot of heavy stuff on it. A lot of the heavy stuff was at the end of the driveway, and
that's the worst.
It was pretty deep, but I shoveled. I was able to get the driveway all cleared off, and I think the weird thing I think I noticed was that I was driving home from work yesterday, and the roads were actually pretty clear.
Right.
I was surprised at that because, I think the snowplows were working overtime, and
yeah, they must have. They're like, this is the last of our money for the season, probably.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna milk it. Plus, we're all at our breaking point, I think, from the snow. So nice.
Well, at least it was a good workout yesterday.
I agree.
Step right up and don't be shy, because you will not believe your eyes. She's right here behind the glass. You're gonna like her, but she's got class.
Welcome back, Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. You can also catch us on our YouTube channel, youtube.com. Go to the 98.9 WXCO channel, be able to see a video stream of our program each and every morning. And if you miss it, you can go back and also watch it there as well. And also, you can join us here on the show. We'd love to hear from you. If there's something that we are talking about or something we are not talking about, make sure you let us know. You can call or text at the same number, 715-382-9297. That's 715-382-9297, and be part of the program. And we love to hear your voice, hear your thoughts with us. And again, you can also use your Civic Media app to call or text. All you have to do is open up the 98.9 WXCO part of the app, and then either hit the button to call, hit the button to text, and you'll be connected with us right here on the air. Time is 8:22. Again, looking outside, the sun is shining. We see plenty of blue skies here at our downtown Wausau studios. A bit of a chilly start, however. Again, we're almost to the end of March, but it's still feeling a little bit like winter out there. Temperature fighting to get above 20 degrees. And to find out, how long is this kind of weather going to stick around? Is it going to get warm enough where we can get rid of all this snow? Yeah, second day in a row as I was driving in. I mean, there is still a lot of snow on the trees. I mean, they are just loaded up with snow. You can see some of those branches being bent quite a bit with that heavy snow that we got on Sunday. But to give us all the details about our weather forecast, we are joined by meteorologist Brittney Merlot. And Brittney, good morning.
Good morning. I think it looks beautiful out there, to be honest. Now that the streets are good, hopefully your driveways are cleared at this point and the sidewalks as well. But it's gorgeous with that blue sky and the bright white next to it. I don't know, it's cheering me up. The sun, I don't know what it is, but I do love it. But those branches, wow, they are sagging from all that ice, that rain, that heavy snow. But it is going to melt away, I promise.
But it looks like, I mean, we're going to get decent temperatures, but boy, it doesn't look like we're going to get some of those really warm temperatures we saw earlier in the month, are we?
No. So here's what's happening. So when we have snow on the ground, it is reflecting, it is pushing the heat back out. So we don't get as warm when we have snow on the ground. So, I mean, the western parts of the state today are going to be climbing to the mid to upper 40s, maybe even hitting 50, while we are stuck in the upper 30s to low 40s today, simply because the fact that the snow is here. So here's another reason to hate it, I guess. But we will start to melt it. I mean, we will hit the low 40s today. The sun is working on it. It's going to start shrinking. We're going to start seeing a lot more water on the streets. So make sure you have that windshield wiper fluid filled up, because this is the season where that spray just continues to hit you, especially as this melts. Potholes too, beware of that. With the temperatures climbing above freezing during the day and then going back below freezing at night, that water seeps into those cracks and it kind of expands and makes those a lot worse. So this is what we're going to be going through this week. Highs, low 40s today, a ton of sunshine. We'll be in the mid 40s tomorrow with a plenty of sunshine. And then we're going to hit the low 50s on Thursday. So we'll slowly get warm, but not as warm as the southern parts of the state. So when you hear mid 60s or potentially 70s, that's not going to be here. I'm sorry. But we will get rid of the snow.
Yeah, going to blame the snow for that, right?
Yep. It's all the snow's fault.
Is it better to have it melt a little bit slower?
I think so. I mean, people's basements,
Right.
beware as we go through the next week, because well, the weather's calm and dry and sunny, it's going to be melting all of that. So it's seeping into the river system, into our areas, and then we're going to get a bunch of rain on potentially Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and even into Sunday, Monday. So we've got a big system moving on in as this is melting. So yeah, I'm worried about the basements. I'm worried about those rivers and streams starting to rise as we go through the next few weeks because this is a lot of precipitation all at once, that's for sure.
And I was looking at, you mentioned the rain on the weekend. It's going to be that cold rain.
Yep. Yep.
It's
The worst.
miserable. So enjoy the sunshine here for the next couple of days, right?
Absolutely. I mean, don't let the snow stop you. There's a lot of trails out there right now, the paved ones, the mountain bay. I mean, it is gorgeous. Go out for a walk, get fresh air, soak it up, because this weekend you're not going to want to be outside. It's wet and gross.
All right. Well, what are the details for our midweek weather forecast?
Gorgeous, beautiful blue skies, ton of sunshine, high pressure, keeping all the systems away from us today, tomorrow, and into Thursday. So those temperatures just keep getting warmer. Low 40s today, mid 40s tomorrow, and low 50s. Yay on Thursday.
We will look forward to that. And again, I'm looking for, yeah, it looks good out there, but I want to see some of the green out there and get outside and make sure that when baseball and softball gets underway, we have games because there's not snow on the ground. And that's coming up.
I know. I made a snowman yesterday, though. That was fun.
You take advantage of every opportunity, don't you?
I did. And I
That
didn't
is
have a carrot for the nose, so I just used a leaf that I found on the ground from fall.
Hey,
Fun.
imagination works. Imagination
It
works. That's
does.
very cool indeed.
Yep.
Brittney, maybe you can get out there again today because you still have
Snow
all that
angel.
snow out there.
I will.
But thanks a lot. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll catch you tomorrow.
Bye,
You
Brittany.
too. Bye, guys. Have a good day.
That is our meteorologist, Brittney Merlot, joined us every weekday at 8:21 here on the program. Right now in downtown Wausau, fair skies, plenty of sunshine, temperature of 19 degrees. The winds are out of the northwest, 6 miles per hour. That means there is a wind chill factor of 11 degrees. It should not be that cold this time of year. But the dew point is 14, relative humidity of 81%. Barometer at 29.99 inches and a visibility of 10 miles. Coming up, we have an information update. Find out the news, weather, sports, entertainment, everything that's going on right now as we do at the top and bottom of every hour. And then we're going to talk a bit about this event coming up on Saturday at UWSP at Wausau at the Venega Theater, U.S. Labor Then and Now. Tell you what to expect. Again, we were expecting to talk to the person that will be leading discussions on Saturday, Dr. Michael Childers from the UW-Madison School for Workers. But we'll still talk about what to expect, and that's coming up. With Ian Welsh, I'm Chad Holmes. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO. On Wednesday from 6 till 8 p.m., it's the final episode of the season of the Big High School Sports Show, presented by K5 Construction on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. Jeff Gress and myself will wrap up the winter sports season, plus special guests. At 6:25 p.m., we'll be joined by Wausau East High School boys basketball coach Dan Garrett after the Lumberjacks made it to the state tournament last weekend. And then at 7:06, it's our student-athlete guest from Wausau West High School, first-team All-State hockey performer Cooper DePoint. The completion of another season of the Big High School Sports Show, Wednesday from 6 till 8 p.m. on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM. Mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. Welcome back, Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. And also, again, you can join us by going to YouTube.com and the YouTube channel for 98.9 WXCO. And you can make your thoughts, your feelings heard by calling or texting 715-382-9297. That's 715-382-9297, or by using your Civic Media app and opening up the WXCO part of the app. Just heard, coming up tomorrow night, our final edition for this season of the Big High School Sports Show, presented by K5 Construction here on 98.9 WXCO. Started back in mid-August, went through the entirety of the fall high school sports season, and now the entirety of the winter high school sports season. Winter high school sports season finished up just last weekend with the boys state basketball tournament. Wausau East was there from our area. And tomorrow night, we'll get an opportunity to talk to the head coach of the Lumberjacks, Dan Garrett, about that trek to state. He'll be with us at 6:25 tomorrow night. And then in the second hour, we'll talk some high school hockey. All-state selection. First team All-State from Wausau West, junior Cooper DePoint. He'll be with us in studio at 7:06. And I think we're going to get as well to talk some hockey, review the season. Wausau West head hockey coach B.J. Brandt after that as well. So we will finish things off with a big finale. Myself and Jeff Gress tomorrow night, 6 till 8 p.m. Big high school sports show presented by K5 Construction right here on 98.9 WXCO. This segment, we were scheduled to be joined by Dr. Michael Childers. He is a professor at the University of Wisconsin-Madison School for Workers, and he is going to be part of a big event coming up on Saturday. But unfortunately, just before the show started, got a note that a family issue has occurred, and Dr. Childers will not be able to join us right now. Hopefully, maybe we'll be able to reschedule before the end of the week, as this event coming up on Saturday. It's U.S. Labor Then and Now. This has been an event that's gone on, I know, at least last year. I'm not sure how long it's been going on, but it's not the first year. It'll be held this Saturday at the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point at Wausau, at the Center for Civic Engagement, the Venega Theater, place that you know pretty well.
Oh, yes.
That place is used for different kinds of events. And this Saturday from 9 a.m. until 3:30 p.m., it will be hosting a number of films. And it's going to basically be able to, and as I said earlier, one reason we do the history lesson every day is that history is important. And we're going to have some movies that basically talk about the history of the labor movement going back many years and going right up until now, then and now. Kind of makes sense.
Yep.
But the free event, again, it's not going to cost you a dime. It's a free event. 7 different films: The Making of Milwaukee, America's Most Dangerous Woman, The Gilded Age, Fistful of Lightning, The Triangle Fire, Divided We Fall, and Return of the Gilded Age. And Dr. Childers will screen and lead discussions on those labor films. And as I said with Pat Kreitlow back in that last segment of his show, if you look at the history of America, especially the last 140 years or so, it's folks like the labor movement that have given us things that have pulled so many millions of people out of poverty.
Absolutely.
It is the labor movement that gave us the 40-hour work week. Before then, you would have people working 18-hour days, 7 days a week.
Including children.
How do you have a life? Yes, your job is important, but it can't be everything where you literally have no other life other than working for the man.
Yeah.
It was the labor movement that did that. Before the labor movement and before the others who were involved in it, those workers would work in just unsanitary conditions.
Yeah.
It would lead to poisonous meat, poisonous food. It would lead to disease and death. And again, I would challenge anybody out there. I would be curious.
This is why our regulations are important.
But I would be curious. I argue that every bit of progress that we've made in so many of these kind of areas in the last 140 years has come from the left, the center left, the labor movement, others involved in it. And if you're out there saying, oh, Chad, you're being unfair, I would love to hear an example of something that the right has done to make lives better for people.
If you have good examples with approved that people on the right have made policies and regulations that have helped the labor force and helped people over the years, we want to hear you. Just, don't just assume that, everything the right has done has been to help the people, because there is good and bad on both sides. But if you have an example, then we want you to share it, but don't tell us that we're being unfair.
Hey, I could be wrong. I don't know everything. And if you out there have some information that would shed some light on it, but I just have seen, whether it's Social Security, whether it's the social safety net that has occurred, because back in the late 19th century, we had basically millions of older people that lived in poverty before Social Security. So they either lived in poverty or were homeless or worked even at jobs that were well beyond their physical capabilities at the time, but they needed the job that basically drove them into an early grave. Well, after FDR came in with his New Deal and brought, among other things, Social Security, we now have where you're not having millions and millions and millions of people above the age of 65 that live in poverty that otherwise would have. The idea of just get out there and work. That's what Republicans have been saying recently. If you don't like it, get out there and get a job. For many of these people, they've been working for decades. They have worked and worked and worked, and they built this safety net of Social Security through their work. People should not have to work until they're 95 years old or 100 years old or to when they drop dead at 70 or 75. So, again, I'd be curious, what piece of positive legislation have those on the right passed in the last 140 years that made lives better for the average Americans, not for the rich? The idea that we should all just be working for the man. That just, it's very frustrating. So that's part of what we're going to see on Saturday. And I would encourage folks to go to UWSP of Wausau. Beautiful theater, be able to see these important films, learn something, and have a discussion with Dr. Childers and other folks involved. There's a great list of sponsors of this program. IBEW, North Central Wisconsin Central Labor Council, Portage County Central Labor Council, Heat and Frost Insulators Union, IUOE Local 139, Iron Workers 383, Plumbers and steam fitters, UALU 434. Teamsters, LU 662. Smart, LU 565. United Steelworkers. I mean, Wisconsin Education Council. I mean, lots of different sponsors of this event. So again, 9 a.m. until 3:30. You don't have to be there the entire time. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, hey, if you're somebody that's able to come there and be able to watch all 7 of those films and be part of the discussion, that is fantastic.
Be our guest.
But also, if you can come in a little bit later, come in early and then do some other things that you need to do on a Saturday, come back. So again, it's a free event, and be able to be there as long as possible and learn as much as possible, be part of the discussion, and really important event. U.S. Labor Then and Now, Saturday, 9 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. Doors open at 8:30 a.m. UWSP at Wausau Center for Civic Engagement, Vinegar Theater on Stewart Avenue. Parking available at Lot G. So again, hopefully be able to get over there and see it. I plan on being there a little bit myself as well. So to learn a little bit and find out a little bit more of the history of the labor movement and what labor has done for Americans, especially for average Americans.
Yeah.
And along the same line here, maybe a little bit of a tangent,
Okay.
but we have, again, the Republicans now in 2025, and their biggest goal right now is to pass another massive tax cut for the wealthy. And that is what Donald Trump is calling his big, beautiful bill.
Oh, geez. He made an acronym.
But Republicans right now are a little worried. But they're not showing any guts because nobody stands up to Donald Trump.
It's like you talked about yesterday with no courage.
Republicans in the House and Senate are still struggling to piece together the details of the, quote, big, beautiful bill President Donald Trump wants on tax cuts, energy, and border security, but are making little progress and starting to fret, according to rawstory.com, that the economy might crash before they can get anything done. And that was according as well to the Washington Post. They reported this yesterday. Actually, they reported it this morning in Tuesday's edition. The fundamental issues that they want to tackle, the GOP, are large and fraught, reported the Post. Major portions of Trump's 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act are set to expire at the end of 2025. That law cut rates for virtually all taxpayers, though it concentrated the most benefits among wealthy individuals and corporations. Trump has also called for massive new spending for national security and to deport undocumented immigrants. He has repeatedly called for a Golden Dome continental missile defense system that experts say could cost trillions of dollars. And that's even without Trump's pledges to abolish taxes on tips, Social Security benefits, overtime wages, and a host of other things. All of this would need to be passed in a budget reconciliation package, a procedural vehicle that, in return for focusing solely on budget items, bypasses a Senate filibuster and can be passed without any Democratic votes. That will be necessary as the GOP wants to finance these changes in part with cuts to Medicaid and food assistance. Yep, let's cut Medicaid and food assistance to give a massive tax giveaway to the wealthiest people in this country. What a freaking bad idea. And excuse the language. Both chambers managed to dodge a major bullet earlier this month when they passed continuing funding for the government with the help of a few weak Democrats, including Chuck Schumer. But are there any Republicans who realize what Donald Trump is doing is driving us right into the ground when it comes to economic policy? But we're going to take a quick time out, talk more about this and more coming up in just a couple of minutes. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
There
We have a caller who would like to share some of his comments about the labor force.
Life is so strange when you don't know how can you tell where you're going to. You can't be sure of any situation. Something could change, and then you won't know. Where do we go from here? It seems so near, just as far beyond as I can see. I still don't know what this all means to me. I have nowhere to go.
Welcome back. Chad Holmes with you here on 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM. Mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO. And on the Civic Media app. Again, also at YouTube.com on the 98.9 WXCO channel. And you can see a video stream of us there as well. Time is 8:52. And Ian, you said we have a phone call.
Yes, we have a caller who would like to share his comments about the labor force that we were talking about in our last segment.
All right. What's your first name and where are you calling from?
Dale from Wausau. What I wanted to say is last fall during the presidential campaign in regards to labor, Trump had said that he's going to put labor in its place. That's his intentions then and now, and so it kind of gave you an idea of what he has planned for labor during his administration. Going to put labor in its place.
I think that says it all, doesn't it?
Kind of it sure does. It sure does. It kind of was a forecasting of his intentions during his administration here, that going to put labor in its place. What he meant by that, I know. At the bottom of the barrel.
Exactly. I mean, all the benefits go to people like himself and take away all the benefits from those who actually work for a living. I mean, that's the way he's been his entire career.
That's right. And in his private life previously, all kinds of contractors and companies that had done work for him, he would not pay them for their services, for their work. He would take them to court to fight paying his bills. So,
and you know what he did as well with that? What basically his plan of attack was, he would then basically take them to court and then say, well, I'll give you a percentage of it, because if you continue to fight it, you're going to lose even more money because you have to pay for lawyers and the such. And basically, again, it was all about shortchanging the folks that he had made an agreement with to pay for certain work. That, again, shows the lack of a soul within him, that basically every step of the way, he's trying to shortchange the people that were working for him that he made a deal with. And that is so much similar in terms of what we are seeing now. These cuts that we've seen in the last 2 months, there were contracts. There was work that was done.
Right.
And he is doing in government what he did as a business owner as well.
Yeah, it was all about extortion, which he has a history of.
Yes, he does. And by the way, another thing about his business career, because everyone thinks he's such a business genius. I mean, he's run multiple businesses into the ground. He has gone bankrupt many times. Why is it that people like him never have to change their standard of living when they go broke and they recover, while others, less, I would say, socially at the top of the scale, have to cut back on what they do as a, I mean, because if you run multiple businesses into the ground, file for bankruptcy, why did he never have to take a step back and say, hey, Donald Trump, you can't be spending all this money when you owe all these creditors money because you ran these businesses into the ground? I mean, it shows, again, one of the issues I think we have in our society and in our country.
Yeah, it was all about stealing and extortion.
Exactly. All right, Dale. Well, thanks for the call.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Again, you can always join us here on the program by calling or texting at 715-382-9297. That's 715-382-9297 to join us here on the program. And good to hear from him, and we'd love to hear from you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Before we wrap up this hour, as of course, coming up in hour number 2 of the show, in the first segment, we'll be joined by Robyn Vargas of the Marathon County Public Library. And then coming up a little later in the hour at 9:34, we will be talking sustainability and more, as coming up from the Wausau Sustainability, Energy, and Environment Committee, Carol Lukens and Jean Abreu will be with us. So since we have Robyn coming in at 9:06, we usually spend that first segment talking to Ian about different issues and also giving him the topic for the number for the day quiz. Coming up in about an hour, almost an hour exactly from now, we will be giving Ian his number for the day quiz. And normally in the first segment of the second hour, we'll give him the topic. But since we'll be talking to Robyn, let's give you the topic right now.
Did you find a good one?
Well, it's the one they gave us today, and I think we're going to go with it because I think going into the spring, we're going to start to see a lot of road construction work start up. And what's going to be, the topic is road maintenance.
Road maintenance.
So, and obviously a lot
Very
of road.
common thing in
Yeah,
Wisconsin.
definitely a lot.
We
So,
have 2 seasons. We have a winter and we have construction season.
and we are going to talk a little bit about that construction season as part of our number for the day quiz.
Road
so,
maintenance.
road maintenance will
Okay.
be the
Got
topic
that in my head.
coming up, and that'll be just about an hour, our number for the day quiz.
That's right.
Hey, coming up, we have an information update, news, weather, sports, entertainment, and then we'll talk to Robyn Vargas from the Marathon County Public Library coming up next. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
I always answer, nothing much, not much. I think they know that I'm looking at them. I think they think I must be out of touch, but I'm only in the outskirts and in the fringes, on the edge and off the
All I need is a TV show and the radio. Down on my luck again. Down on my luck again. I can show you some of the people in my life. I can show you some of the people in my life. It's driving me mad. Just another way of passing the day.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, March the 25th of 2025. The time is 9:07. Good looking start here in downtown Wausau at our WXCO studios at the corner of Washington Street and North 3rd Street. Plenty of blue skies, plenty of sunshine, a bit of a chilly start. Temperature of 21 degrees, and we're still talking wind chills. Wind chill factor of 12 degrees above zero, but still could be worse. We saw it 2 days ago. It could be worse, but hopefully your day is off to a terrific start. Again, the time is 9:07. I am Chad Holmes. It is hour number 2 of the Chad Holmes Show. 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices, and Alexa by searching WXCO and on the Civic Media app. And again, you can also join us on YouTube, youtube.com, and the YouTube channel, 98.9 WXCO channel on YouTube. And we would love to hear from you. You can make comments there, but you can also call us or text us at 715-382-9297. That's 715-382-9297. We'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, and your voice here on this program. Coming up a little bit later on in this hour, we will be talking again, sustainability and a whole bunch more, as coming up at 9:34 this morning. We'll be talking to Carol Lukens and Jean Abreu of the Wausau Sustainability and Energy Committee. We'll talk about what they are up to coming up a little bit later on in this hour. And that'll be at 9:34. Also need to say good morning, as we do each and every top of the hour, to our in-studio engineer, our in-studio producer, Ian Welsh. Ian, good morning.
Good morning, Chad.
Are you thinking about the topic for our number for the day quiz?
Yep, road maintenance.
Thinking about what number it could be, right?
Boy,
Road maintenance, I think it'll be a big number.
yep,
So
definitely going to be an interesting number for sure.
we'll talk about that coming up at the
That comes later.
end of the hour, as we do as part of our daily history lesson to wrap things up here on the program each and every weekday. But every other Tuesday at this time, we are always very happy to welcome back to the program from the Marathon County Public Library, Robyn Vargas. Robyn, good to see you again.
Good morning. Good to see you as well.
I tell you, I said, how are you doing? He said, it's spring break time, so that means a lot of kids are
Yeah.
hanging out, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely. It has been busy. And I say that it's the beginning of Tuesday. So Monday was very busy, but it was good. Yeah, good busy.
Was it an expectation that it would be busy? I imagine
Yes.
that you were all ready for it, I imagine, right?
Correct. Yep. Certain times like this, spring break, if there's a long fall break, winter break, obviously we know that there will be a lot more families coming into the library. So
Any special programs this week because of that?
yeah, for sure. In Wausau, we have something going on pretty much every day this week. So starting yesterday and going through tomorrow, Wednesday, you can drop in anytime. We have Sticker Palooza happening for kids. So we've just got a whole ton of stickers that we set out. And then we have supplies where they can either make bookmarks or some mini sticker books and just let their creativity go loose. And we have just an abundance of stickers. If you think about like all the like Paw Patrol, all those favorite character books that come with like 200 stickers at the back of the book, we take all those out before we get our books ready for circulation. And so we just have this stockpile of stickers. And so yeah, we're excited to let the kids have at it and help us clear some of those out. So that's happening all day today and tomorrow. Stop on in. It's just in our children's area of the library.
Let me ask you real fast.
Yeah.
What is it about stickers?
You know,
I'm somebody that's old, so it's like I don't know. I mean, what is it about the stickers that or
I think just a reward. Like I don't know, but it is definitely a thing. They love stickers.
Actually.
They'll do a lot for a single sticker.
That actually is interesting. Rewards, because you know, in following some football is my broadcasting. There are some teams that when they have a player that does a good thing, they'll have a sticker they can put on their helmet.
See,
there you go.
It works for all ages.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, but no rewards necessary for this. They can just come on in and have at it.
What else is happening this week?
Yeah, so we also have a couple movies showing here at Wausau. So we have our Year of Ghibli. So on Wednesday, we are showing The Tale of the Princess Kaguya. That is at 5:30 at our Wausau location in our community room. And then on Friday, the 28th, we're showing The Wild Robot. That's based off of a children's novel. It's a pretty recent 2024 movie, so kids can stop on in. That one's at 2 p.m. on Friday. And then we also have 2 more Studio Ghibli showings on Saturday. We have Castle in the Sky on Saturday at 10:30, and then Porco Rosso on Saturday at 1:30. So
I imagine that
lots of movies.
When you're looking at movies, I mean, obviously it's probably not a hard and fast rule, but I imagine that when they do have a connection with a book, that it's probably one that you'd like to keep an eye on.
We like to show those, make those connections, and hope that they might check out the book as well.
Exactly. So you gotta think that next step ahead, right?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, so those are some of our movies. And then we also have some video games happening at our Wausau location on Thursday. So for kids in the morning from 9 a.m. to noon, we're playing Mario Kart. I'm very excited because I get to help run that one.
Oh, geez.
And so I'm hoping, maybe like 9 a.m., only 2 kids show up and they need someone to race against them. So my skills will come in handy. So that'll be Thursday.
But don't celebrate too much if you win.
I know. I think I might have to hold back a little. Let them hit me with some items.
No, you gotta win, but just do it in a classy way.
Okay. We'll see.
Continue.
And then for teens on Thursday afternoon from 2 to 5, they can come on in and play Super Smash Brothers Ultimate on the Nintendo Switch. So some friendly competition there. So we've got crafts, we've got video games, we've got movies. That's all happening at Wausau. Out at the branches, you can also at Mosini, they are continuing to have their crafts and coloring extravaganza. That's been happening all month. So anytime this week that the branch is open, you can stop on in for some crafts. They also have some escape room activities this week. So today, Wednesday, and Thursday, just at different times, you'd have to call the branch to know what times they have left that are available and then to register, but different escape room adventures. So if you're into puzzles and mysteries and all that, see if you can break out of the library.
Fantastic. I know that Ian loves those escape rooms. In fact, he went to one out of town on the weekend. So,
wow.
Yes, I did.
So it's like, I think that, again, it's like, at my point of life, some of these things I've found, he tells me about them. It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And I mean, imagine that this keeps you so much, keeps your hand on the pulse of what's going on with the kids.
Yes.
And that must be very exciting.
Absolutely. But that actually, I'm glad you mentioned Ian going to one and that I was looking ahead a little. We have one coming up at Wausau too this Saturday. It slipped my mind for just a second.
I think Ian ought to put that down on your calendar. Think about being involved in that.
I think there's still a couple openings.
There you go.
So you can register for that one on our website, mcpl.us. You can find it in the events, and then there's just a really quick Google form to fill out to let us know if you're coming for that one. But that is this Saturday at Wausau. Mystery in the Stacks. We did offer this one in November, but this is so a similar concept, murder mystery type thing, but a different story. So if you came to the one in November, this one is a different story. So come on back and do it again.
Very cool indeed. Any of the other branches have anything interesting coming up?
Yeah, Rothschild has a jigsaw puzzle competition. A couple of branches have started doing these, I think maybe December, January, and they've been really popular. We've had a great attendance and people have just had a lot of fun getting a small team together, 2 to 4 people and racing to build a puzzle.
How big are how many pieces?
So this one in Rothschild on Wednesday is 500 pieces. So they do range. I think Stratford had one that was 300 pieces as well as a 500. So
That's very cool.
kind of going back and forth. But yeah, that one, if teens or adults are interested, that is 4:30 this Wednesday, the 26th at Rothschild. You want to call them to register and make sure that they have a spot left for you.
So many of the activities, whether it's just reading or something like that, it's just great to keep that mind sharp.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's fun. That's really cool indeed.
And speaking of learning a little bit,
It's always fun to learn as well.
yeah,
Not
exactly.
all fun, right?
At Rothschild next week on April 3rd, they are having a presentation about the Marathon County Public Library Bookmobile.
Oh.
So that started in 1949. Ran for 50 years or so. It's not in operation anymore, but if you want to learn about the bookmobile's beginnings and, where it...
I remember the bookmobile
Oh,
back when I was
do you?
younger. I've been around this area for a
Yeah.
long time, and I remember that bookmobile.
Nice. Yeah, I've just seen pictures, but it's a cool concept.
Is the bookmobile actually around, or is it gone completely?
I think it's gone. Yeah, I'll have to check and ask our reference librarian this afternoon because now I'm curious.
I know
but-
they did Hoff in a garage somewhere.
Correct. Yeah, that very well could be. I don't know.
We got a little under 2 minutes to go. Anything else we should make sure to hit on before we wrap things up?
Yeah, those are really the big ones. We do have one more in Wausau on April 5th. For folks, if they're interested in learning about spreadsheets, if you need to get started in Excel, it is a very basic beginner's class. But if you need to start somewhere, a family member who does, come on into Wausau. That one's on April 5th at 2 p.m. And we just ask that you register either by giving us a call or on our website as well for that one.
And that's the thing. We've gone through so many different little items here.
Yes.
Go back to the website.
Yeah,
and
it has it all.
can take a little more time as we go through it rather quickly. But
Mhm.
again, mcpl.us. And so much of the information is also on your Facebook page, and you follow along there as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Fantastic. Robyn Vargas, Marathon County Public Library. Again, get back over there. I'm sure it's active right
I'm
away
sure
this
it
morning.
is. Yes.
But thanks again for popping on over. We'll
Yeah.
catch you in 2 weeks.
Thank you so much.
The time is 9:18. Coming up, we'll be back again a little bit later on in this hour. We will be talking to Carol Lukens and also Jean Abreu. As again, every month we are having a new feature talking about the Wausau Sustainability, Energy, and Environment Committee. So we'll talk to them coming up in just a little bit. Along with Ian Welsh, I'm Chad Holmes. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
Then you gazed up at me, and the answer was plain to see, 'cause I saw the light in your eyes, in your eyes, in your eyes. Don't be hiding, I'm playing, I just never would suspect a thing.
just don't know what to feel. Sometimes I don't know what to feel. Everything I thought that I knew starts to look so unreal.
Chad Home Show 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM. Mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO. And on the Civic Media app. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll be talking to Jean Abreu and Carol Lukens, members of the City of Wausau Sustainability, Energy, and the Environment Committee. Tomorrow, in the first hour, we'll be joined in studio by Bob Look. He'll be joining me to bouncing around some of the news and sports stories of the week. Of course, we'll have as well our meteorologist, Brittney Merlot, with us at 8:21. And I think Sean Wright will be back. He was off in Florida 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we had a substitute guest from the Grand Theater, but I think Sean may be back. I want to hear if he had some fun at spring training. I know he was going to see some baseball down there, but scheduled to have Sean Wright with us early in the second hour as well tomorrow. So
Probably
that's
nicer down in Florida for him than it was for me and my dad.
yeah, you remember that.
Oh.
Yeah, you ended up going, I think, probably the coldest week they had during the last few
If we had
months.
waited 1 week later, or the one we went, it probably would have been the perfect weather. But you gotta do what you gotta do, and you can't always win them all.
You always have that glass half full attitude over there. I tell you, that's a good thing to have.
Well, some people think I'm a silly because of it, but honestly, somebody has to be the optimist.
Yep, you're exactly right. So,
There's a lot of negativity, and
well, I mean,
if people choose to be optimistic, I don't see why we should stop them.
there you go. I think that's a good way of putting it, because it's so easy to get knocked down, and it makes it harder to get back up. And if you have that half glass full attitude, it makes it a lot easier to maybe to keep on your feet and not to get knocked down as hard as you otherwise might. By the way, when do you start your rehearsals for your new show?
Well, right now we're on a little bit of a break in between the auditions and rehearsals themselves, because our director, Brenton Knies, he's currently directing the Central Wisconsin Children Theater's spring show, The Enchanted Bookshop, a musical, which actually will take place on April 11th, 12th, and 13th. And then as soon as those shows are over, he jumps right into Anastasia rehearsals, because as soon as the final show for that is over, the next day after that is when we start the Anastasia rehearsals. So he's a busy guy. I mean, first he's doing children's theater, and then he goes to Wausau Community Theater, but he can do it. He has the experience, he has the professionalism, and he's probably going to have to, I can't imagine how many coffees he's had to drink already, but hopefully he's taking care of himself and staying awake for the most part, but it's a lot of pressure, I can imagine.
In fact, we'll have Brenton Knies with us on Monday, April the 7th. He'll be joining us along with 3 of the cast members with the Enchanted Bookshop.
Fantastic.
So we'll have some of the young people involved in the Central Wisconsin Children's Theater's Enchanted Bookshop musical. And
I'm looking forward to that.
Again, so they'll join us on Monday, April the 7th. In fact, next Monday, March the 31st, we will have some cast members from Wausau West High School in their production that's coming up next week of All My Sons, the great Arthur Miller show. So we'll talk about that coming up on Monday. So a lot of good stuff going on in the theater here as we get into the spring. And especially it's great to be able to talk to the young people who are starting to get their experiences and their love of the stage and the theater. And so we'll look forward to those the next couple of Mondays.
Very nice.
And then, of course, as we get towards the summer, then we'll bring in some folks from your show. So, and that'll be a fun process, I'm sure, as well. What are you up to again? You're up in the 70s in terms of shows.
Let's see. Once I start the Anastasia rehearsals, I'll be working on my a 74th a show.
Fantastic. That is
So
a
I'm
lot.
almost to 75.
Man,
so I'm,
we're going to count down to 100 here. See how long
Yeah.
it takes to get to
I feel like
100.
when I get to 100, I should have a big celebration.
You should. I think you definitely should. Hey,
Man.
just want to remind folks that if you want to have a celebration, you could be a winner in the Break into Spring statewide Text to Win contest. It's going on this week and next week. Make sure you tune in at 7 a.m. with Pat Kreitlow, 11 a.m. with Jane Martinaire, 1 p.m. with Todd Alba, and 4 p.m. with Dom Salvia. Between now and Friday, April 4th, for your chance to listen for a keyword at the start of each of those hours, and then enter for your chance to be an hourly winner. And then with that entry, you'll also be part of the final drawing for the grand prize. So 7 a.m. right at the start of the hour, Pat Kreitlow will give you the keyword, and then all you have to do is open up your Civic Media app, open up the WXCO part of the app, hit the text button, and just send in that keyword. One word. That's it. One word. You're in. And then at the end of the hour, they will draw a winner. And it could be a Chula Vista giveaway. It could be Milwaukee Brewers club level tickets, or even $100 cash. And we do that every day 4 different times. So 4 different times to win
2
one of
weeks.
those great prizes. Exactly right. And then every entry. So if you enter every one of these hours, that's more entries for you to be part of the final drawing, which is a brand new queen size mattress set from Verlo Mattress. So great grand prize. And it goes on 4 times a day. So that's 20 times a week and 40 times total for your chance to win either the hourly prize or then perhaps win that grand prize as well. So again,
A lot of entries.
yeah, we started it off. So we've had 5 different chances already. Pat had the first one for today. Still 3 more times to win here today. 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 4 p.m. So listen all day long. Keep it right here. Don't flip your dial. Keep that app on. Do whatever you have to do to make sure you're tuned in and then win. Break into Spring.
Yes.
Text to Win statewide contest. Coming up, it is an information update. We'll get you the latest news, weather, and sports. Keep you up to speed at the top and bottom of every hour. And then after that, it'll be Jean Abreu and Carol Lukens from the City of Wausau Sustainability, Energy, and Environmental Committee. So that's coming up. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
Baby, I'm ready to to a wall. 'Cause all the words are having no effect at all. The door is dead. I say to myself, it happened to change the direction. But little does this girl is giving you the wrong impression. And the door is dead. I say to myself.
Welcome back. Chad Holmes Show 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO and on the Civic Media app. And the time is 9:36. Again, you can join us. Call or text 715-382-9297. That's 715-382-9297. And every month we are getting an opportunity to talk to folks involved in the City of Wausau Sustainability, Energy, and the Environment Committee. And today we get a chance to get a second visit with Jean Abreu and also get a first visit with Carol Lukens. And ladies, thank you for both coming in. And we have you both get closer to those microphones here. Make sure everybody is able to hear. And I know that we've had a couple of visits involving this committee already, but just for folks who may not be as familiar, and that's one of the reasons we're doing this, is we want to get people to an understanding of this committee and what it's doing. Number one, could you maybe give that background again on what the Sustainability, Energy, and Environment Committee is all about? And I love the fact you're both pointing at each other to talk about this. But just give a little bit of the background on what it is and what you do.
Well, the Sustainability Committee is interested in trying to move forward awareness and education in our community about how to handle things in your yard, what to do with composting, how to protect the environment and ourselves. And so one of the things we thought would be beneficial would be to come on the radio and just talk about a variety of different topics that we're interested in. We have an article every month or every Wausau City newsletter. There are 4 of them throughout the year. And so we're just trying to promote like seasonal information about what we as homeowners can be doing to make our world a better place.
If I can just jump in.
Absolutely.
Also, we had the resolution that was signed by the city council to try to incorporate other practices or sustainable practices into city operations. So looking at energy as well as the environment and sustainability all around.
And the thing about real, before we go into our main topic today, and when you say something like that, there can be small steps too. As long as you're pushing in the right direction. And obviously there's disagreement on probably how far you want to go, but I would think it would be pretty bipartisan that the idea of having sustainability practices, at least at a certain level, would be something that we could agree on in this era where it's so very difficult to agree, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. And, that should be all around. It's saving energy, which saves money. So that's huge. That's huge for the city, especially, in our economic environment right now too.
And we've seen that real fast. I mean, when obviously Christine Daniels is the one that kind of got me together with you ladies and with the committee. And she's talked about over at Good News Project in terms of what they've been able to do. It's not just good for the environment, but she has said it's great for the bottom line. And I think that's something that needs to be underlined as well, especially with, as we know, with limited resources in government these days. But let's get to the reason that the topic for today's discussion. You mentioned it's you see all that snow still on the ground, but it's gonna go away, and we're gonna get into the month of April, into spring, and then all of a sudden insects and pollinators will start to pop up. And here today we want to talk a little bit about the impact that insects have as we prepare for spring yard and garden cleanup. I guess to start off, what is the concern with insects and pollinator populations?
Well, the big concern is that populations have been declining both locally and globally. Some places are reporting anywhere from 40 to 75% decline in the last 40 years. And it's showing up in the populations then of animals that depend on the insects. Bees and other pollinators touch our lives every day, and we may not realize that. About 1 in 3 bites of our food has been created by pollinating insects. So economically, insect pollinators contribute billions of dollars to the U.S. farm economy. Bird species have been declining over the last 40 years. Several factors are involved in that, but there's a dramatic decrease, in the insects. And that plays a major role because they're an important food source for our birds.
Those numbers are rather amazing when you talk about
They're
40
alarming.
Yeah, I mean, that's another
Alarming,
good
yeah.
word to put, 40
Yeah.
to 75%. And you said it, 1 out of 3 bites of our food.
Yes.
I mean,
Mhm.
why is this happening? What is causing this decline?
Well, so there are a few main reasons: habitat loss, us cleaning up us residents, cleaning up our yards too soon and cleaning up too much, even though, we all like nice, tidy yards. And then another one, and one that's really important to me, is pesticide use, because the amount of insects that have declined is just, it's astronomical, and it is really alarming to me. So these are all really human actions, and the encouraging thing about that is that we can do a lot to help turn this around.
Again, we're talking to Jean Abreu and Carol Lukens, members of the City of Wausau Sustainability, Energy, and the Environment Committee here on 98.9 WXCO. Real quickly, one of those that kind of jumped out in that listing of the cause of the decline: poorly timed yard and garden cleanup. It sounds like that people could be doing the right thing, but maybe not doing it at the right time or in the right way. Is that
Yes.
is that one way of putting it?
That's it, exactly. We have grown up, for decades with the idea that, when we're done growing, our growing season is finished, we should cut everything down and clean everything up. And then when spring comes, we should rake, cut everything down and clean everything up. And that is so not helpful to our pollinators, who are busy overwintering in our plant stalks, in our leaf litter, just below the surface of the soil. So we need to be thinking more about not just what we are looking at in our garden, but who is there and who is finishing up their overwintering so they can come out, can hatch.
Well, one of the things that I think that, and again, you've been very nice to give some information to me here about these issues, which I'm not as all familiar with as maybe I should be as well. And I imagine that after a long winter, people are just anxious to start to get to work, but that could be something that is not the best way to proceed as well. Correct?
Right. I actually have a suggestion about that really quick.
Sure.
If people want to get out in their yards and dig in their yards, which I love to do, instead of removing everything, which we'll talk about, just dig out by hand your dandelions if you don't want them, or pull out the creeping Charlie or things like that, because you can help in that way.
Right. Or if you absolutely feel driven to do some raking, rake your leaves into a pile somewhere and just leave them, because there are insects overwintering. And if we put them in bags and send them to the landfill or to the, compost, city compost, they may not hatch. And so it's just really important to think about the insects.
And also, you should wait until a certain level of temperature, a certain level of springtime arriving, correct?
Correct. So many insects don't emerge until the temperatures reach a consistent 50 degrees. So not just a day or two of it, but consistently. So really, we shouldn't start a garden cleanup until the temperature is reliably in the 50s. So we can think about, would I plant my tomatoes now? If it's time to plant the tomatoes, chances are that conditions are neither too hot nor cold for pollinators to be out and about. And the same thing for, mowing our lawns. If our grass is growing enough to justify regular mowing, then it's probably a safe bet that most pollinators have emerged. So it's really best to wait until May.
It sounds like basically the environment tells you it's if you just listen to the environment,
Yes.
then it kind of gives you the answers in terms of when you should start doing some of this stuff. What else should we be thinking about again when it comes to for those, especially the homeowners, to be insect friendly in terms of their backyard?
Well, one thing I wasn't aware of, but I am now, is the fact that we've got bees and insects that live in the dead stalks. They overwinter in the dead stalks of like your taller perennials. And so leaving the stalks overwinter not only creates a seed source for birds and a visual source of interest in the winter, but it is a home for overwintering insects. So if you absolutely have to start trimming in your garden in the spring, well, then leave the stalk about 1 foot to 1.5 foot, because whoever's in there is down at the bottom. So you can still allow the insect to finish its wintering process, but you are starting to move forward with your garden cleanup.
Very interesting
Yes.
indeed. And in terms of planting native species, I saw a note here. I kind of looked at that. Again, trying to do the right things. What does that mean, and what good comes out of that? Says plant native species and wildlife will come.
Yeah. So native species, what is native to our area is what's really important to plant. Native pollinator plants are perennials, so it makes it easy too, because then they come back every year. But it's important to plant native so that the insects and the other kinds of native bees and other important pollinators to our area have that food source. However, it's really important to check with your local nurseries, because there are different neonicotinoids, they're called, chemicals that are put in plants that are sold oftentimes at maybe larger types of stores and things like that, they're meant to help the plant withstand a lot, but those kill the pollinators. Those are toxic to the pollinators. So it's really important. One other thing I just want to add in there, although it's spring and not fall, as much as we can leave our leaves in the yard, they're good, because if we think even of fireflies, from the time I was a child, we used to see many, many more, and we don't see them now. That's because they overwinter in leaf litter. So the more we can leave those things even in the perimeters of our yards, the better.
We have to take a real quick break, but there's one other point that I know that you touched on when it comes to pesticides. So we're going to come back, talk about that before we wrap up our conversation. But we have a hard break here. We'll be back in 2 minutes. The time is 9:49. Back with more here on 98.9 WXCO.
Make what life's about, yeah.
And welcome back. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM. Mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO and on the Civic Media app. Still a little bit to talk about here with Jean Abreu and Carol Lukens from the City of Wausau Sustainability, Energy, and the Environment Committee. And Carol, you had mentioned early on about pesticides and herbicides. And obviously that is something that, I think a lot of folks have heard about that. What should we know now as we get to spring in terms of treating the lawns and the gardens with these chemicals?
Thank you. Yeah, that's so important because one of the big factors as well in this decline of species is because of that. So adding chemicals to your lawn has many harmful consequences. We've become, I think it's become kind of normalized, or it's growing that, we use a spray to get rid of anything that's pesky. But the thing is, even mosquitoes, the other species eat those. So the birds and frogs and bats depend on that. So instead of thinking of getting rid of everything, the natural cycle, nature will take care of it if we do less of that. So please, please, please avoid treating your lawns and gardens with herbicides and pesticides unless absolutely necessary, because it really ends up harming all of us.
Absolutely.
Well, and if I could just add, by eliminating, if you use a pesticide, you eliminate the bug you don't want, but you also eliminate all of the good bugs and the predators who would eventually take care of that pest to begin with. So there's lots of natural predator prey stuff going on with insects.
And before we wrap it up and add anything else that we want to make sure we mention before we finish up, something we were just talking about in the break is, again, the information that this provides. I think a lot of folks are more than happy to be able to help in these ways because they're rather straightforward, aren't they?
Absolutely.
How do people learn more? I guess it would be my question, my layman's question here before we wrap it up.
The first thing I would say is go to your local nursery and ask for some of their native species and plant some. And when you see your first butterfly or your first moth, it will send you down the path of wanting to do more.
And also we have been putting something in each of the city newsletters now from the Sustainability Committee. You could look at the Sustainability, Energy, and the Environment Committee website through the city. We do have different resources there. And then there are a number, Monarch Joint Venture, Xerces, Society, XERCES, Doug Tallamy. There are lots of really good organizations working on this. Did you want to throw in your last statistic about the caterpillars?
Oh, well, it's just that we all love chickadees and birds, and our birds feed their babies caterpillars because, mamas just shove the caterpillar down the throat of the baby. And so, like with one family of chickadees, they need to feed their babies 6,000 to 9,000 caterpillars in the course of raising one little bird family. And the caterpillars need their host plants to be able to grow. So it's an important food source.
Absolutely. There's so much more that I'm sure we can talk about in a future visit because, I learned a lot myself. I really, and then it was something you were saying as well. A lot of folks just don't know this basic information that can go such a long way in changing some of those numbers that we started off with.
Yes.
Again, the 40 to 75% decline in some of these insect populations are just, it's very, very concerning. But again, Jean Abreu, Carol Lukens, thank you very much. We'll look forward to another visit with the committee next month, but thank you for coming in.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Absolutely. Before we wrap it up, Ian, I know that you are always waiting because this is your spotlight moment here because we always wrap up the show with our number for the day and our number for the day quiz where we give Ian an opportunity to get the right answer. 3 choices. 1 is correct. 2 are incorrect based on the math. You should get 1 out of 3 right, 33%. And every week, if you're above 33%, we give you a passing grade. If you're below 33%, it's a failing grade. We want a winning week, though.
Yes.
More right than
absolutely.
wrong. 3 out of 5. And of course, your best week ever is 4 out of 5. And still
Mhm.
looking for that perfect week. And what is our topic?
It was road maintenance.
Road maintenance. All right. Our number for the day today, Ian, as we get towards road construction season here in Wisconsin.
Okay.
The number of dollars spent on road maintenance each year in the United States.
Oh boy.
So the dollars spent on road maintenance each year in the United States.
Okay, what are my choices?
The choices are $10 billion, $50 billion, $100 billion. So those are your three choices. $10 billion, $50 billion, $100 billion. How much money is spent on road maintenance each year in the United States? You're 0 for 1 so far this week. So we don't
Yeah.
want you to be 0 for 2. Then you'll be heading uphill here for the rest of the week.
Well, it is a lot of money, but I'm just gonna go with my instincts here. I'm gonna say a 10 billion. I'm going with A as my final answer.
Okay, 10 billion is your final answer. Well,
Not gonna overthink it. But locking it in.
the dollars spent on road maintenance each year in the U.S., you should have overthink it.
Oh
Because
man,
$100 billion.
you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah. I thought you would get that one. I thought you'd go with the big number because we see so much just here, let
Yeah.
alone in the United States of America.
I didn't think it cost that much.
Well, you learned something new here. So,
yeah, at least it weren't.
well, now you got work to do. Yeah, get on the winning track tomorrow, right?
I do.
All right. Well, we'll be back tomorrow morning, 8 till 10. Bob Look will be with us in the first hour. Meteorologist Brittney Merlot as well. Sean Wright from the Grand Theater in hour number 2. And we'll see if Ian can get the number for the day right to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Stick around. Matt and Air on air coming up next here on 98.9 WXCO.